Today, I'll be talking about the truth behind the Columbia housing market. Earlier this year, we saw a spike in interest rates, which you probably already know about. That really cooled off a lot of buyers, right? All right, guys, let's take a look at the stats as they are right now in October 2022. Because everyone's trying to feel out the market a little bit. However, I've still been helping a lot of folks move to the Midlands area because what we're finding is there's still a ton of opportunity right now. You're not having to offer $30,000, $40,000, or even $50,000 over asking price anymore. Long story short, we have more inventory that's on the market right now, almost 40% more than it was 12 months ago. Higher than this time last year, which is awesome, right? So it gives you plenty of opportunity. However, yes, interest rates have climbed. But let's talk about that. First and foremost, hear me out on this. Even though home prices are starting to level off since you've got more inventory, which means more supply, you also have less demand and has less over asking price. So basically, home prices have come back down to planet Earth. However, because of our amazing economy here in South Carolina and the fact that homeowners have a higher amount of equity and we're still 17% higher than we were last year, you as a buyer have some options. Since sellers have plenty of equity and there aren't as many buyers, sellers are happy to help with concessions right now in order to help you buy your rate down. Are you still going to have a slightly higher interest rate than you would have seen 12 months ago? Yes. Absolutely. But what I'm getting at is, if you can stomach a slightly higher rate and get yourself into a home you love, it's probably worth it. I promise you, a lot of people who bought their homes in 2020 or 2021 don't love their home. They were just getting a home that their offer was accepted on. Rarely was that on their first choice home. I'm not saying they hate their home, but most people had to settle on some of their must-haves in the last few years. Right now, you've got the leisure to look at other homes. Find the one that's right for you in the right location and still have the seller happy to work with you and offer concessions in order to have you get that home. And you have the rate that you need, even though it is slightly a little bit higher. So believe it or not, this could be one of the better markets for you to be a buyer. You can negotiate that contract on a house that you love with a rate that's adequate for you right now. I think right now it's 10 times better being a buyer than it was a year ago because you actually have houses to look at and you don't need to write an appraisal gap requiring all that extra cash. Plus, you'll get to inspect the home with a full 10-day due diligence period. Sellers generally have a lot of equity still in their home because we've seen so much appreciation over the past 5 years. Not just the past 2 years from COVID, but from the past 5, 7, and even 10 years because South Carolina has been growing organically. Homes today are sitting an average of 27 days on the market, which is 42% higher than they were this time last year. But sellers are still selling because they understand that they have to go purchase a new home. So they're okay to lose a little bit of money right now helping you with your rate or with the overall price coming down a little bit because they still have a ton of equity and because they can go and be a strong buyer right now too and get the same favors from the seller when they buy their home. So whatever they think they're going to be losing to help their buyer on that rate, they can turn around and do the same thing to their seller when they purchase their home. A lot of people have put off selling because they were super nervous back then that they wouldn't be able to find a house to buy. Sellers back then weren't going to move unless they were moving out of state or unless they just had to because of life circumstances. Now, they're starting to think, hey, whatever money that I don't make on my house, I'm going to save when I buy. So it's still a win-win here in South Carolina. And that speaks again to the strong economy here. So when you're looking at it from an individual seller perspective, or the buyer's perspective, or both at the same time, a lot of great benefits for not only now, but the next 2 or 3 years looking forward. A year ago, as you were doing your home property searches, I'd tell you if you were in the $450,000 range, I would have told you not to look at homes over $425,000 because you needed room to go over its list price. It's the opposite now. If you're shopping for a $450,000 home, you may be able to search up to $460,000 or even $475,000, understanding that, hey, if that home doesn't sell and it doesn't do a price reduction on its own, the seller may be very well open to an under asking offer. Or we can have our lender run the numbers to see what we can afford up to with an interest rate buy down that the seller pays for through their concessions. So bottom line, there's a ton of opportunity out there. And if it's more important now than ever to connect with some agents who know what they're doing and have connections within the lending world, because lending is so much more important now because it's all about the products. Whether you're ready to purchase now or a year from now, I'd like to help you through the process, making sure that whatever that time is right for you, you'll be ready and market knowledgeable. Now go out there and enjoy our awesome fall weather. See you soon.